Hello, hi. Hey everyone. What's up? How's it going? Hey there, Sebastian. Nice to see you're still here. Welcome. Hello everyone in the chat. Can you guys see this? Can you guys hear me? You can? Oh, awesome. Great. Guys, welcome. This is day 3 and the last day actually for the design track at the India Game Developer Conference. Guys, thank you for joining. It's been a pretty crazy last couple of days. We had some really amazing speakers. We had day 1, we had Brenda Romero. We had Matthew Buxton, and then yesterday we also had Torvi, who's worked on the Minecraft franchise, and before that he worked on EVE Online. So before I start discussing about our next upcoming session, I should probably introduce myself. So I'm Vijay. I'm one of the curators for the design track here at IGDC, and there are basically three design curators. Myself, Shagun, and Krishma, which you guys might see like later in the day, maybe towards the end of the day. And thanks so much, guys, for joining us. So before I start bringing on our next speaker for today, I just want to quickly give a shout out to all the sponsors who have been able to make this show possible. Our presenting sponsor, Unreal Engine, the Unreal Game Summit. I don't know if you guys caught any of the sessions that have been going on for the last 2 days. But they've been a big help. We have our gold sponsors, MPL, AWS, Amazon, Glance, and Zhongli. Our legacy silver sponsors, Gamation, Lakshya Digital, and Yes No. Our bronze sponsors, Quali and Gameon. Hyper casual track sponsor, Sunday. And IP Connect's sponsor, Succeed Innovation Fund. Whew, okay. Great. I got sponsors out of the way. I didn't mess up any of the names. Are you guys still with me? Awesome. If you hear any see any flashes of light on the screen or stuff, that's just my wife playing Halo. So don't mind that. Okay. Cool. All right. So I'm here to present our speaker for our first session for today, and it's going to be about No Straight Roads from the CEO and co-founder of Metronomic. And that's Juan Hasmer. So he is a Malaysian video game. So Metronomic, for those who don't know, is a Malaysian video game company that creates original IPs with seamless music and game design integration. If you guys seen No Straight Roads, you would have definitely get a feeling of that kind of that running theme in their games. He's the game director of Metronomic's debut game, No Straight Roads, available for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. In fact, I believe the Encore Edition just recently came out, so you guys can also check that out. Their second game has been announced, which I'm also really excited for. That's Onden, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. An audio-centric game set in a weirder and fantastical context with more hints of Malaysian cultures. Guys, whenever you get a chance, do check some of these games out. They're fantastic. Before this, actually, has lived in Japan for about 10 years. And he worked for Square Enix for 8 years, and he was the lead game designer, one of the lead game designers for a little game you guys might have heard of, Final Fantasy 15. Any Final Fantasy fans? So, among other games in the franchise. So his main goal is to craft memorable experiences that put Malaysia on the world map. So yeah, today's session, once again, is how he made No Straight Roads audio-centric, and I'm going to go ahead and invite him on the stage. And when he does come on the stage, please give a big applause in the chat. Sebastian asked, can I change my questions? I believe you can only ask one, so you can ask multiple questions in the Q&A. I don't know if you'll be able to chain them properly, though. Hey, Has.
Hey, hello. I'm on, right?
Yes, you are. Can you guys see him?
Hello.
I'm seeing claps going on, and
yeah, that sounds...
Yeah,
I guess they can see me. All right.
Awesome. Oh, thank you for that, Nikhil. Yeah, cool. So, guys, without further ado, Has, please take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. For people in India, good evening. Thank you for having me for this India Game Developer Conference. This is my first time here. And sadly, I have never been to India yet, but I hope to use this IGDC as an excuse to go to India next year, huh? Nudge, Vijay. But okay, anyway, I'll be talking about. Okay, let me share the screen very quickly. Oops, sorry, I switched on my camera. How smart. Let's see. Okay, so feel free to talk in the public chat as well. I can respond whenever I have the time. And we will have a Q&A session at the end, around 15 minutes. So yeah, here we go. So today I will talk about our game, our debut game, No Straight Roads. We feel very, very passionately about audio and how to gel it with game design. And I hope that I can share with you some of the things that we went, the direction that we have gone for No Straight Roads. Okay, but just a little introduction about myself. So first of all, I used to work in Square Enix. I was in Japan for 10 years, and I worked in Japan for 8 years. So I was in Square Enix starting from 2010. And I was also lead game designer for Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, Shinjuku, yes. So Shinjuku is my zone, basically. So I used to be lead game designer for Final Fantasy 15. Don't be fooled by the title. I was a game designer, but I don't lead every single game designer. How lead game designer position works in Square Enix, or should I say for Final Fantasy 15 specifically, is that I actually lead a team of artists, of programmers, and of 3D modelers and all that. And I happen to be a game designer as well. So that's how I got. So I'm a game designer that happens to be a lead of a team. Our team was in charge of the towns in the game. So Lestalum, we have Altishi and all that. So all the hubs and all the towns were handled by my team. And I actually introduced some Malaysian culture, but we can argue that this is also Indian. So in Malaysia, we call this roti canai. But I'm sure it's called something else in India. But yeah, put a lot of effort into the food, into the culture. So we were called culture team. Sometimes we are called hub team. Sometimes. So yeah, but we were in charge of the playability in the towns and also the look and feel, the environment, the culture. What do they do? Blah blah blah. Sorry. And I also was given the opportunity to give talks in E3, in PAX, and all this, which is quite a rare opportunity because usually Square Enix do not allow foreigners to be the face of the company, but I was given the opportunity to do that because of the director at the time, which is Tabata-san. So I decided to leave Square Enix at the end of 2017, and they actually printed the Malaysian flag for me and said all the best. So that was really, really nice. They already know that I'm going to start a company. So in December 2017, I started my own company called Metronomic. So I'm now the co-founder, CEO, and also game director. So I wear a few hats, I guess. I also take care of the HR. I also take care of the accounting to a certain extent, and I also direct the game as well. And I am not the only founder. So again, I'm co-founder, right? So my other co-founder is actually my cousin. His name is Daim. So he also worked in Japan. We actually went to Japan at the same time, but he went to work. I studied Japanese first. And you can see the games I worked on. So that's Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy Type 0 for the PSP, and also Monster of the Deep, the very weird VR fishing game for Final Fantasy 15. And my cousin Daim, he worked on Street Fighter 5 as a concept artist. He was also illustrator for Street Fighter 4, and he was also animator for Final Fantasy 14 Stormblood. So very, very talented person. So yeah, we two cousins formed Metronomic together, and now we have grown to around 20 people. So for Metronomic, we have 20 people, and we are all working at home at the moment. We have been remotely working from home since last February. So Malaysia had a bunch of lockdowns. So it was amazing to know that we actually shipped 2 versions of the game, of our debut game, from the house. So that was quite an accomplishment, considering that most of these were actually newcomers. So in Metronomic, 80% of the team are newcomers to the industry. Either they are fresh graduates or they come from another industry. Like, for example, Brian here, he used to be a senior art director of an advertising company. Hafiz here, he used to be an accountant. So he was an accountant and he showed us his 3D models. I'm like, damn, that's good. So we all hired him. Yeah, so we have a bunch of people from all walks of life, and because we want more fresh ideas. But we just plant a few veterans here and there. All right. So let's talk about our debut game, No Straight Roads. So No Straight Roads, we actually released it for PlayStation 4, for Nintendo Switch, for Xbox One, and also the PC. Initially, Epic Games Store. We actually have a collector's edition as well. No Straight Roads is an action-adventure game where you control an indie rock band trying to topple an EDM empire. The EDM empire, I mean. Yeah, so it is quite a crazy genre. But again, I like to remind everyone that it is an action-adventure game, not a rhythm game, but very, very rhythm-centric. And last October, 21st October, last month, we released No Straight Roads Encore Edition for Steam. So I'm going to show you the trailer so that you know what the game is about. I'm going to mute myself and also switch off the camera so that it's much smoother experience for you all. So.
Today, we stand up against NSR.
You are so naive to think that rock is still relevant.
We are gonna hijack their concert. Let's rock it. It's time we fight EDM with the power of rock.
DJ Subatomic Supernova!
All of us can see our future clearly. All of us live life honestly. Yes, live a life that we got. Don't need to know what we got. Go under. All of us can see our future clearly. All of us live life honestly. Yes, live a life that we got. Don't need to know what we got. Go under.
All right, there you have it. That's No Straight Roads Encore Edition trailer. It's already available on Steam, so please wishlist it, or even better, buy it and play it for yourself. Thank you so much, Sharish, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yeah, it is actually we were actually inspired by Teen Titan for the introduction, the opening sequence. The opening sequence is new to the Encore Edition. So yeah, you can see the tube, right? The tube flowing. So that is like Teen Titan a bit. Big 2000 energy, yes. So we actually love our Dreamcast games and PlayStation 2 games. So the golden years of Space Channel 5, Jet Set Radio. You even saw one of the comments of the media saying that it's close to that. And also, you love the art style. Thank you so much, Nickel Mora. Oh my God, I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. A bit like Artful Escape. Oh no, Artful Escape. The art is great. I mean, of course, our art styles are different. My God, but Artful Escape is such a wonderful game. But okay, anyway, moving on. I'm not supposed to sell Artful Escape here, but hey, love the game. So moving on to talk about No Straight Roads a bit. So, there we go. So today I'm going to talk about audio, but I'm not going to talk about the localization, okay? Because localization is another big can of worms. But I think we actually really pulled it off very nicely. So we have Japanese, French, and Spanish voice acting as well. And yeah, there was a lot of effort being put into this. So maybe next year, I don't know, I can talk about localization because, oh my God, if you get your game ready for localization, then you really, really have to get it ready. But because I'm a very big evangelist of, language not being a barrier to play a game. So that's why I was although it's our debut game, we went straight into getting it localized for many, many languages. So yeah, but I won't be talking about that today, okay? Now we have, so we started in December 2017 when we opened the company, and then we released a demo in Tokyo Game Show in September 2018. So that was Tokyo Game Show. And yeah, we had a lot of great response from there. So we actually went around the world. We got our publisher sold out from the UK as well. We got Shuhei to play the game as well, right? And yeah, it was interesting because it was our debut game. But I guess the art style and the music really caught their attention very quickly. So it was not a very, very smooth process to, from day one all the way to the sale of the game. But a lot of things made it smoother than expected. Our fans, our partners as well, and people from the platforms like PlayStation, Xbox, and all that, Microsoft as well, and also our publisher sold out. So, and because of that, we actually got some awards. Oh, thank you, Sherryans. Thank you so much for loving the visuals. Yeah, I love the visuals as well myself. So we got a bunch of awards. We also had a lot of coverage from media, which was interesting considering that it's just a small game that was made by 80% people new to the industry. And we had even IGN, we had PlayStation as well, GameSpot to cover the game. And after the game was released, so we actually had a bit of mixed reviews here and there, considering there were a bunch of bugs and all that. But there were people who actually appreciated the charm of the game. So, for example, Forbes mentioned it as maybe the coolest game of 2020. Then we also got into the most underrated games of 2020. And I really like this particular quote. No Straight Roads is a mischievous celebration of creativity. So that is actually what we were trying to aim for, because that's the reason why Dime and I love games of the 2000 era, because at the time they were not pressured to make a certain genre, right? So and then a certain art style or certain realistic art style. Everyone was going all over the place. So we wanted to go back to that era, basically. And although a lot of media supported us, but the biggest support that we had is from the fans. This is really, really crazy. So we're not a billion seller, okay? So we're not Cuphead or anything, but we've been having a lot of support from the fans. We still have around 10 to 100 new fan art every single day. If you just search hashtag No Straight Roads, we can actually see a lot of the fan art of the game, not only on Twitter, but also on Instagram and all this. So it's really, really amazing fans. They even created a fanzine. Okay, I know my window is a bit small, but we actually printed the fanzine for them. For fanzines are magazines that were organized by fans. So we didn't organize them at all. So we already have around 2 fanzines and 1 fanzine coming up. We call the Demi Orang Kecil, which is for the little people, NSR Malaysian zine. And we have 1 fan game from Ashford, the artist. We have a lot of fan fiction, the most popular one being The Road to Redemption by Renee. And when we announced the anniversary, when we had our anniversary last August this year, the fans actually started a hashtag Thank You Metronomic, because apparently the game helped them to be more creative, got them out of trouble, and all this stuff. So, and the fact that they actually started a Thank You Metronomic, just, oh my God, God bless them, seriously. So I'm happy to say that we actually created a memorable cult classic. Okay, not a million seller, but a memorable cult classic. And I'm not very concerned too much about whether being a million or not, because we already earned profit on launch day, so we have covered all the cost on day one. Okay, that was reported by Games Industry as well. But now the question is, how did we get here? So I already spent around 18 minutes talking about No Straight Roads, but let's get to the meat of the presentation, which is what makes fans love the game. So one of the aspects of the game is music, is rhythm, and the fans really love the game for that. And it's not only music as the background. The music is great, by the way. The music is really, really great. But it's not only that. There's a lot of intricate design that's involved in the making of the game. So this is what I'm going to talk about today. Okay. So first of all, I want to let everyone know why did we create Metronomic in the first place. So we created Metronomic so that we want to make more audio-centric games without turning them into rhythm games, right? Because the reason why we are doing this is because, number one, music is used in two ways, which is soundtrack or rhythm. So you either play it for the BGM, so you have music because it elevates the atmosphere and all this, or it becomes a rhythm game where you actually press buttons according to the rhythm. I'm okay with both ways, of course. So we're okay. But I just feel that we can do way more with audio, right? Audio is one of those things that are considered like last-minute add-ons, for some developers. And I want to let everyone know that audio should not be your last-minute add-on. Okay, you have to focus on audio right from the start because it also provides the experience, right? Number two is good hand-eye coordination is needed for rhythm games. So, I see a lot of love and good. So I guess you all are composers maybe or sound designers. But yeah, I mean, audio is really underutilized in games. Even if there are more games coming out with audio, I still feel that there's much more we can do with audio. Number two is good hand-eye coordination is needed for rhythm games. So yeah, I'm a very big rhythm gamer. I've played since Beatmania 1. So that's like, oh my God, I feel old already. More than 20 years. So I've played in rhythm games for more than 20 years. I do play pop music once in a while on my stream. I also upload some videos on YouTube as well, playing games in Japan. So yeah, my normal experience is always when I invite my cousin or I invite my friends to the arcades. How's the arcade scene in India, by the way? I'm curious. But yeah, the arcade scene in Malaysia is considered not so good. In Japan, it's still crazy, even with all the COVID. So when I invite it's no Japan, of course. No one can beat Japan in that sense. Arcades like dead. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I love arcades, man. I grew up in the arcades, basically. Yeah, playing Virtua Cop, House of the Dead, Crazy Taxi, all that. And then, of course, Danza's Revolution, Beatmania. But anyway, so I always invite my friends to come over and play with me. But they always say, my cousin always says, I'll just watch you play. I don't know whether there are any rhythm gamers in the chat, but it's a very, very common comment, right? It's like, okay, I'll just watch you play. And obviously they feel very intimidated because it looks very difficult to play. And I agree with that because it's like as if I pass you the guitar and expect you to play it right away, right? So everyone loves music, but it doesn't mean that everyone can deal with the input device of the rhythm game. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say on the third one. So yeah, everyone loves music. So there must be a way to integrate rhythm with game design, but not just in a rhythm game kind of way. Because music also has its own rules. Audio also has its own rules. There's music theory. And game design also has its own theory as well. So maybe there's a way to combine them to make for a better experience, to make a better collaboration, to make a better interaction with the rhythm or with the music. So for example, this is a typical rhythm game where bars will fall down to the bottom. And let's say, for example, I'll change the game a bit and make it an avoidance game where you have to avoid the bars instead of hitting the key. So now it has become like an action game a bit, right? So, of course, this is the simplest way to do it. But we went a whole lot more steps further by making No Straight Roads. Okay, so No Straight Roads is a game where the enemies actually follow the beat. You don't have to follow the beat if it's not very obvious from the trailer. So, when you play Dark Souls, for example, a Souls-like game, right? Once you get used to the pattern of the enemies, then you will know, you will play lots of times, you recognize the pattern, and then you finally can beat the boss. So for our game, the pattern is in the music. So once you enter the chorus, then that particular attack will come in and all that. So yeah. For the Q&A, I will definitely answer that later. So don't worry, I'll get to you soon. That's a very interesting question about it. How was EDM a villain? Because of that, we put a lot of cost and effort into the harmony between. So that's our mission. That's our mission for Metronomic. Okay. All right. Now, dynamic music is not new. Dynamic music is actually quite old. One of my favorite games is X-Wing. I don't know anyone here old enough to play this game. I'm 41, by the way. But yeah, here's an example of X-Wing. So to give you a context, you're entering hyperspace to enemy territory, and then so you're still very far away from the field. So you're approaching the field, and then you're going to enter a dogfight. So do listen to how the music change. So I'm going to mute my mic and my. So yeah, that was 1993, okay. And if you played a lot of LucasArts games in the 90s, you would know that a lot of dynamic music was used even in games like Tim Schafer's Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle, and all this. So dynamic music was very big back in the days of LucasArts, right? So just without me saying anything, just watch what happens in No Straight Roads in one of the boss fights. It's a Yinu boss fight. So Yinu is, just to give you a bit of context, Yinu is a pianist who has her mother watching over her. So you're actually fighting both. So Yinu is playing the piano while the mother comes out from the backstage once in a while. And then after that, once you take the piano down, then the mother will go and protect her. And that's when you have to attack the mother. So there's a context. Let's see.
Let me show you! Yeah, take it! Take it! Take it! Show you!
All right, so that was No Straight Roads, one slice of the pie. So so you can see that the music actually changes depending on the situation. Now, why did we do that? And is it really worth it? Because there's so much music and cost into it. So our main policy, and this is something that I learned from Square Enix as well, is that we put a lot of the cost into user experience. Now, I know that there's another person, I forgot her name or his name, speaking on the design track as well, talking about user experience, but this is just my little take on user experience, okay? So user experience is about harnessing the power of why. So why are you playing the game? Why are you going through this stage? Why? So to ensure that we make the user understand the why, we put a lot of cost into that, right? So to me, so usually user experience is, people say that it's UI, but I totally don't agree with that, okay? For me, UX is driven by so many things. The world, the controls, the audio, the art, the story, the tech, whatever. And then this is just an example. So you put it in a glass of water, right? So how the user looks at that glass of water is the emotional context. Like, for example, if you see a glass of water in a marathon, then you would think that it is treasure, right? If the glass of water is delivered in a very high class restaurant, then maybe you think that it's cheap. So instead of just being a treasure, so the same glass of water, depending on what you put in there, can mean different things for different people. So this is what we call the UX. This is my definition of UX. Okay, don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's up to you whether you want to learn. But this is what I learned when we were making Final Fantasy 15 as well. So for the towns in Final Fantasy 15, because the UX was to provide a road trip experience with your friends through a realistic and fantastical world. So to aid that UX, we made sure that there's a lot of culture shock in the hub. So there's a lot of things to talk about. Your buddies will also always respond to stuff. So it's like really going on a journey with your buddies, okay? And my good friend Sun, who was the lead game designer of the buddy team, created a photography. Their team created a photography AI. So you have a party member who takes photos for you. So it really feels like a road trip, right? And it is no wonder that a lot of people like this feature. So it is not just photo mode that you see in other games. This is actually someone else taking the photos for you and then sharing the photos at the end of the day when you go camping or when you stay in a hotel. And yeah, this really enhances the experience of the road trip. So for No Straight Roads, we wanted to make sure that because the whole message is that you're a rock star, you're trying to rebel against the EDM empire and all that, the UX is change the world with your music. So you can change the world with your music, and we put everything, story, art, audio, everything to accommodate this UX, okay? So we want to make sure that nothing is lost when we push this UX to the user, okay? So you are a rock star leading a musical rebellion. That's what we want you to feel with our game. So for example, the enemy attacks follow the music, but you can move freely. So it's a bit like a rebel, right? So you're not tied to the rules of the world, basically, but you can understand how the rules of the world in order to rebel, right? And not only that, you can actually play your music and transform props with your instrument. So you can play the guitar. This is what we call the circle of influence. So the circle of influence, you have a lot of fans' hands moving. If you can see the GIF here, I don't know whether it's very easy for you all to see, but yeah, it will transform certain props in the field into weapons or utilities. So which is why you can see that our UX even leaked all the way into marketing. So you can see that the key visual has yourselves and fans around you supporting you. And then we also have a rebellion, so you're going to fight. So you have to feel a bit small, and then they all look more, mysterious and scary. So that it was the whole idea of this key visual. So your music can change the world physically, meaning that you can change it into a weapon. Everything moves according to music as well, and then you can change that. Your music can change the world morally as well, because this can be another talk, but every single boss has motivation to why they play music in the first place, right? So Daim, my co-founder, and ID, also the story writer, both of them worked really, really hard to define every single boss and why they do the things they do in the game, right? So everyone has different reasons to play music. Everyone has different motivations, and it's just a matter of. So this is a bit of a spoiler alert, but it's just a matter of clash of different ideas of justice, right? So you like rock, the game, okay, and they like EDM as well. So it's just a clash of taste, basically. But it's not only taste; it's also justice. It's also different feelings like love as well, and all that. So yeah, your music can change the world morally. And today I'll be talking mostly about this. Your music can change the world orally. So thanks to Unreal Engine and Wise, and also the wonderful folks at Imba Interactive. So they are sound designers in Singapore, based in Singapore, and they did wonders to the game to ensure that our vision, our game design is actually carried out in the final game. And the music was made by soundtrack composers. Falk was the music director. He used to work with me on FF15 as well. And then we have Pageman, Funk Fiction. We have James Landino as well, also Andy Tunstall. So they are the composers on top of many, many other composers, guest composers, such as Godspeed Aoki. We have Daisuke Kurosawa as well, and a bunch of other composers. We even have, recently we have remixes from Ian Tsuchiura, who's from Hyper Potions. We have Tokyo Machine as well. So yeah, we have a lot of really great composers for the game. So yeah, so how do we use music in No Straight Road? So first of all, we really care a lot about visual storytelling. So music helped us to tell the story. Okay, so these are the bosses of the game. So we make sure that all the bosses don't only focus on one genre, but a subgenre on top of that. So for example, DJ Subatomic Supernova, his motivation is just to show off his music. So he thinks that he's in the center of the world or center of the universe, which is why the planets are going around him. That's the whole concept. That's the whole visual storytelling that we're trying to go for here. So we mixed disco and space, for example. For classical music, for Yinu, just now the stage that you saw, we combined classical music and plants because we think that Yinu is like a budding artist, right? And then the mother is like an old tree. And then we have a parody of Hatsune Miku, or all those VTubers as well. So we have a virtual singer who is in the computer world. So you can actually see that all these look like USB symbols, right? And a bunch of ones and zeros at the back as well. So you're actually going into the digital world. And then we have something that's combining, inspired by K-pop, also combining with military as well. And we have Eve, who is like a bit like a diva type character, and we combine that with a museum, like a art gallery. So yeah, we have a bunch of that. But how do we explain that in terms of audio? So this is just the art and the idea, and maybe the story. But how about the music? So for the music, we actually divided every single music into 3 layers. So with the help of Imba Interactive and also with the help of the composers, we divided into 3 layers: backing, melody, and rhythm. And then we divided it further into bass, EDM, and rock. So if we set all that to bass, then you will only hear the bass music, right? But maybe when the enemy becomes stronger, then we set 2 tracks to EDM and the rhythm track to bass, to stick it to bass. And then when you're winning, for example, then we set rhythm to rock. So we have played a lot with these 3 layers, and yep, you guessed correctly, we have 3 versions of the same music for all boss stages. All right, a lot of hard work from the composers. So you can see it in action here. So this is how it looks in Y. So yeah, it was a very big video, so I cut it so that you can actually see the mouse movement, but it might be blurred for you. Just have a look. Whoops is EDM, by the way. Oops, sorry. So yeah, that is how so that's happening in Wise, but how does it work in the actual game? So in the actual game, it depends on the boss. So just now, when you were fighting the mother and Yinu, so we make sure that the mother is representing EDM and the Yinu is representing bass, which is the classical music, and you represent rock. So when the mother is protecting Yinu, when the mother is protecting her child, then it's fully rock because she's totally vulnerable. But later on, in the later stages, Yinu will be out of the picture and mother will be the only one in the field. So that's where we go full EDM to show the anger of the mother, right? The next one we're going to show is Eve. So Eve, the concept is that Eve actually had history with one of the party members, Zook, the drummer. So her music with Zook is way gentler compared to the other one, Mayday, guitarist. So Eve looks at Mayday as a rival, so the music is way nastier compared to Zook. So now the boss HP is 50%, less than 50%. So it's more gentle now, but it has a bit of rock because her HP is less than 50%. So now it's less than 25%, so all rock. Yep. So that is another demonstration of how we did the storytelling. So obviously, users for the first time when they come here, they don't know that, they might know that Eve has a bit of history with Zook, but later on, after this, the room will be divided into two, one with Zook and another one with Mayday. So you change rooms when you switch characters. So the music also will be much gentler. So you can tell that Eve likes Zook a lot, whereas she hates Mayday. So that little storytelling is what we do when we think about the audio. And yeah, thanks Imba Interactive for the video as well. You can actually see a lot of their videos online in their channel, Imba Interactive on YouTube. So do check it out. Okay, next one is music defines the mechanics. So music also has to define the game design. Oh, I'm going way over time. I'll speed it up a bit. Music also defines the game mechanics as well. So obviously, people who are new to the game will be surprised at the genre because obviously they haven't played a game of this type before. I'm sure you can find some games that are similar, like Necro Dancer, for example. But it still feels very different, especially when it comes to the action adventure genre. So we make sure that the visual cue is higher at the beginning, and then the audio cue, the dependency on audio cue is lower. So we put in more, like red color squares, for example, at the beginning of the game. And then we reduce the amount of red squares as we go up. And then we make sure that the user depends more on the music later on. And when you have hard mode, crazy mode, and all sorts of other difficulty modes, then that's where you're much more dependent on the audio cue, right? So I have to warn you, there's a bit of flashing lights here, so be careful. I already reduced the brightness of the video, by the way. So just in case, if you feel something, just close your eyes. I will let you know when to open your eyes again. Okay. But yeah, this is an example of audio cue for the first boss. So it's very obvious.
Wars feathers mean nothing when a billion stars and thousands upon thousands of planets.
So we have a parry mode as well. So you can parry according to timing. bang, bang, bang. So we actually improved the audio cue already for the Encore edition. Last time it was there, but it was less integrated, right? So in terms of the mechanics as well, we make sure that, again, I mentioned that all the enemies follow the music. So we actually divided the music into bars. And then every bar has what we call a macro system. The macro system defines what attacks go into which timing. Okay, so in Unreal, we actually, the programmers did a great job in changing the system so that, you can define the timing and all that. And then we have a rhythm listener that connects to Wise. So the Unreal will actually listen to the rhythm and then obviously will act according to the music. So I will just go through this very quickly. So I don't know whether you realize it or not, but so whenever it hits a certain trigger, you can actually see the red line appearing. That shows that something is being fired, right? So the macro system actually listens and then will fire the correct attack accordingly. Very, very difficult to pull off, by the way, because some attacks have what we call, what is it in English? I know the Japanese word. The prediction. The anticipation. Yeah, the anticipation. So you need to add anticipation to the beat. So although the hand hits on the beat, right? Oh, hello, welcome again. So, was there a problem with the discussion just now? Oh, no. All right. So, but you all can still hear me, right? Okay. Anyway, so when mother's hand hits on the ground, there's some sort of anticipation before that. So we have to make sure that the action starts before exactly that number of frames before the beat. So a lot of crazy work done here. So thank you, programmers. Thank you, Inbar Interactive as well. Okay, we have already reached 15. VJ, you think we can go overtime a bit? But anyway, I'll just rush very quickly. Okay, so because I want to answer a lot. You have a lot of questions as well, so can't wait to answer them. The other thing is music also makes you feel awesome. Yes, because you're a rebel. So we don't want to make you feel like crap. We want you to feel awesome when you play this game, right? So we have to make sure that the music tallies with that feeling. So there has to be a lot of positive reinforcement for you to show that you are actually doing something. You're actually changing something. Apart from just the music, right? So we have this. Circle of influence. So circle of influence, I mentioned earlier, which is you can play music and you can change a prop into a weapon. Now, this is a game design mechanic. But we want to make sure that it feels awesome for you as well, right? We don't want it to just be a mechanic and stop there, This is something that I always want to tell a lot of game designers as well. Don't just stop at the mechanic working, but also feels good. It has to feel good. Not only in terms of the controls, but also it has to be fulfilling to the user, and it matches the UX of the game. So we took an extra step, which is we have the stage music already. And the stage music, as I mentioned to you, we have 3 versions and all that stuff. So we already talked about that. And then to make sure that it's super cool that you do this, we also have a guitar solo and a drum solo for the entire stage music. Now, that is crazy because can you imagine doing a solo for the entire music? So we have around 7 minutes of music or 5 to 7 minutes of music. So they have to do solos for all of that. And the guitar solo was divided into different people, but the drum solo was only one person, Bruno. So that guy is crazy. He drum soloed everything, including even the town BGM as well. So you can actually see some of the... Oh, yeah. And also, if you notice the animation, so we made sure that when you are playing your solo, we reduce the volume of the stage music a bit. All right? So that you can really, really hear that the solo that you're doing. So the feedback is good. So here's a bit of the circle of influence demonstration. So I'm sure some of you musicians know that the guitar will reduce the volume of the melody, the guitar solo, whereas the drum solo will reduce the volume of the rhythm layer, right? And you can see this in action. Now, the beauty about the Encore edition is that we have this thing called the rehearsal pass. So you can play all day without getting damaged if you equip this pass, but you have some penalties. Okay? So you won't get damaged. So yeah, that guitar solo was composed by Daisuke Kurosawa. So Kurosawa-san did such a great job on that guitar solo. It's nuts. Okay, so next we go into the attack combo itself. So the attack combo also, there's a lot of thought put into it, thanks to Inba Interactive and their suggestions on how to make the battle better. So this is one of the demonstrations. So you can actually upgrade your combo for Zouk from 3 hits to 5 hits to 7 hits to 9 hits. We make sure that it sounds good even on the drums. So we make you can actually, let me pause for a second. So you can actually press the square or the triangle. So it's either the kick or the snare. And you can actually play all the way until here. Okay, the system has changed a bit since then, but the basic concept is the same. So then you will have to finish here. So which means that the drum fill will always be pulled out, will always be played on the 5-hit combo, 7-hit combo, and 9-hit combo. We just jump the beat, right? So you can see the demonstration here. So yeah, listen to that variation. Close hi-hat or open hi-hat. This has been changed a bit, by the way. You can play around with a bit with the. So yeah, it's a bit like a what do you call it? Like playing a drum on your phone, basically, but within battle. So to conclude my presentation for today, we made sure that the audio serves its purpose in the UX. So we made sure that music tells the story. All right. Music also defines the mechanics of the game, right? Oh, Muso game. Yeah, exactly. And music also has to make you feel awesome. So it's not just about, it's not just about making things work, but you have to enforce the user, you have to give a lot of positive feedback to the user to make them feel good about their own music. And then we made sure that this gets poured into that cup of water called UX. So we made sure that the music, the audio, everything ties well with the music so that it gives you the message, it gives you that experience, it gives you that emotional context that you can change the world with your music. And today we were just talking about audio, but we made sure that everything in our game, the art, the story, the tech, whatever, all goes into this UX, right? If any of these elements go against the UX, then we will not include that in. So that is something that I want everyone to think about when you make your own game. Okay, you have to define the emotional context of your game and make sure that everything goes into that UX. The games that you love, is very, very easy to define what the UX is. Okay, all right. That's all for today. But before I end the presentation, I would like to showcase one last thing, which is our new game. So we have just announced our new game like beginning of the month, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we have revealed it to be called Onde Onde, which is based on a little snack in Malaysia. Okay, also found in Indonesia as well. So let's have a look at the teaser if you have not seen it. So yep, that was Onde Onde. Oops, sorry. So that was Onde Onde, everyone. We are working on our second game right now. We haven't revealed what the genre is or when is the release date or anything. But I can assure you one thing: we will still care about the UX. The UX will be different this time. It won't be change the world with your music anymore. And the audio and how the gameplay, or should I say, the game design deals with the audio is going to be completely different than No Street Roads. Okay, so it'll be another way of how we can use audio in game design. So I hope you look forward to that. You can follow our social channels, Onde Onde _EN or Onde Onde official. And if you have not bought No Straight Roads yet, please do. It's available on Steam now. And yeah, go wishlist it, go buy it. And do follow our social channels as well. We are on Twitter, we are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, also TikTok. We're also on Facebook as well, by the way. I forgot to include that. Sorry, Facebook or Meta, whatever. Okay, so yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, I look forward to the questions. Maybe I should stop sharing the screen now. Hey, Vijay.
Hey. Oh, man. Haz, that was freaking amazing. Thank you,
guys.
Thank you so much. And we're so sorry. I don't know what Haz did, but he completely broke the chat for like 10 minutes. I think it was
that's
just too much awesomeness.
Yeah, I just bring the tech problems in.
Oh man. So okay, we have 5 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and start picking out questions.
Sorry, I ate up so much of the time. I wanted 15-minute Q&A. Darn.
Hey, no worries. We'll see if we can squeeze in a little bit of extra time. I don't know what will happen if the session ends. We might get kicked out, so we'll see how that goes. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and pick out a question for you.
Okay, so from VJ, seems like you use Unreal Engine as per the screenshots shown. How were you able to manage remote work since you Unreal file sizes are huge? Oh, sorry, this was asked by Sriraj. Okay, so Unreal, right? Yeah, the file size is very, very huge. So in Malaysia, we have kind of decent internet speed, but it wasn't really a very big problem for us because although it's big, we don't really have a lot of crazy high quality textures like in realistic games. So we managed to pull off. Yeah, we have a cloud server. Very, very easy to maintain. I'm not going to mention the company or else you might hack the server. But whatever it is, yeah, the very, very, very stable server. And yeah, it does take a while to download everything. But at the end of the day, you just upload a bit here and there, right? So after the initial download, which is very long, then after that, it was very smooth. Yep. Right? Hope that answered your question, Sriraj. How come EDM was a villain? Just curious, since I saw this in Hotel Transylvania as well. Oh, you watched that show? Okay. So EDM is something that I personally love EDM, right? And I also like rock, but I really, really love EDM. So I always see EDM as a very fast-paced kind of music. So I always love it when the boss runs some sort of very fast-paced music. In other games as well. So, and EDM versus rock is a very, very classic tale of, analogous music versus digital music, right? So we wanted to take a very, very relevant theme for our game. So although our game is made in Malaysia, we have to make sure that the message is something that everyone in the world understands. So rock versus EDM was the easiest way to get that message across. The clash of, ideals, basically. All right. From Edwin, how long did it take for you to get all the music composed for this game? Oh my God, the entire 3 years, I think. The entire 2.5 years, was it? About 2 years, 8 months. But yeah, if you're talking about the vanilla No Straight Roads, yeah, we took almost the entire length. Because the cool thing about because we focus on audio from day one, right? So we already got in touch with the composers from day one. We already got engaged with sound designers from day one. I know a lot of companies don't do this, and I really hate it when they don't engage their audio people from the start, because audio does a lot to the user experience as well. So they deserve to be part of the development early on. So I can't tell you exactly how long, because it just feels like it's the entire length of the development. There was a lot of feedback to and fro. So yeah, and then they compose the music, and then they have to make sure that it matches the gameplay, and then we feel that okay, when we play the game, then something goes wrong. There is a lot of to and fro, and then they still continue to compose the music even for the Encore edition as well, for new remixes and whatnot. So yeah, that's the answer. Yep. Thank you for the question.
Hey, I am so sorry, guys. We are out of time.
Oh no, so fast. Sorry.
That's my bad. So if you guys have any further questions for Haz, you can feel free to hit him up on Twitter. And of course, please check out Metronomics page as well. Please check out No Straight Roads and whatever these guys will be working on in the future. So just a quick reminder, everyone. Please fill the survey form. It's it's just a question. It'll take like a minute. You just have to click on the handouts tab on the right side. Just click on that link and fill it out, and let us know if you guys really liked Haz's session, or you can let us not know, and we'll still tell him he was an amazing person to have here. No, but please, by all means.
Problem. Yeah.
Oh no, we need to shower all the love for him, guys, so we can bring him back.
Oh, thank you so much. I love you all too. Thank you.
Okay, so Haz, you can actually go ahead and head backstage. I'll join you in a bit.
Okay, sure. So I'll go now, yeah? All right.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great Christmas or whatever end of the year ahead. Okay. And happy 2022, I guess. All right. See you all. Bye-bye.
Hey, guys. I'm so sorry. I wasn't sure what would happen if we hit our time limit. I didn't know if all of us would get kicked out from the session. So I just, on the safer side, I thought we'd just end it here for now. But hey, listen, thank you so much for the questions. Like I said, you can hit up Haz on Twitter, and if there's anything else you want to know from him, by all means. He's been a very amazing guest here, and I hope all of you really enjoyed his session. Once again, just a quick reminder, please click on the handouts tab and click on the survey link. It's just one question. Let us know what you thought of the session, because we generally want to know if you guys enjoy these kind of talks. It helps us a lot build the conference. And thank you so much. Unfortunately, we had to miss the IGDC awards this time, so I have no idea who won. But IGDC isn't over. There's still a bunch of other sessions that are going on. So if you want to know what sessions are currently running, just go to the left side of the tab. You'll see something that says stage. Just click on that and see what sessions are running right now. Or you can head to the IGDC site and check out the schedule there. Design Track will be back at around 9 p.m., I think 9:15. Celia Hodent, who is a UI UX designer and who's worked on such prominent games like Fortnite, she'll be presenting her talk today, and we're also very, very excited to have her as well. But for now, that's all. And once again, apologies for the chat. Don't know what the heck happened. I'm glad we got it fixed, though. And I hope all of you have a great evening or great day, depending where you're watching from. All right, everyone, take care, and I'll catch you later.